In 2018, Natalie Decker competed full-time in the ARCA Racing Series and would finish in the top 10 9 times out of 20 races and finished 7th in points, although it should be noted that every driver ranked beneath her started less races than her. For 2019, it was announced that Decker would compete part-time in the NASCAR Truck Series for DGR-Crosley.
Natalie Decker also with an issue, some left front damage in that 54 truck.
And a lot of damage to the hood on her truck as well. Look how that tire has destroyed the fender and the hood on that truck.
For some reason, did both of those trucks have left front tire failures on the first lap of the race? She's got more issues than that. She's tore her oil line off right there.
And that's a big problem for Natalie Decker, making her first Truck Series start here at Daytona.
That'll bring out the caution as she's on pit road.
And it is indeed out. And there you see pulling Natalie Decker out of the truck. The crew right on hand to get that fire out.
Wow, I'm glad to see her get out of that truck. Looked like she maybe fell down over the wall, probably overcome by smoke.
Decker making her first Truck Series start, and she's teammates with David Gilliland, who we initially saw having an issue and slowing up. Well, we expect the competition to be hot, but this isn't what we had in mind. It has been a fiery start here in Daytona. Everyone fine. That's the good news. Meanwhile, Hermes at the Care Center with Natalie Decker.
You're talking about the roller coaster of racing here in NASCAR. Great weekend in the ARCA race, great qualifying effort. Early into the race tonight, any idea what happened to the left front tire?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. It just went down and then it started on fire coming to pit road. It's really heartbreaking. I really wanted to have a good finish here, but it is what it is.
Yep. Flat tire, brake line busted, and early into the night for the 54 of Natalie Decker.
Natalie running a part-time schedule for DGR-Crosley this season, and certainly a tough start to her opener.
Got trouble somewhere.
Turn 4 just before they got to the tri-oval. The 54 of Natalie Decker.
Decker was running in the top 20, Phil, doing a nice job early. Looks like maybe some damage to the left rear. Makes you wonder if maybe got together with another
Looks
truck.
like maybe more contact with another vehicle than it was the wall.
Had such a tough outing last week at Daytona. Had a flat tire on the first lap of the race and tore up that left front, and eventually had an oil fire, and just her day came to an end before it got started.
Watch all these trucks coming. Just wait. After this block one here, you got a little room.
Looks like
just wait on the field. We're already down one. Just wait on the field.
Looks like she's going to be able to continue from here, however, which is good news.
Yeah, Kevin Hamlin, her spotter, telling her, just say, we've already lost a lap. Let's see if we can see what happens. Look right side of your screen. Looks like she just got a little bit loose. There was a truck close to her, and I think probably there's the contact right there.
Not sure there was contact that led to the spin.
I don't think so either, Vince. I think she just got a little bit loose with that truck very close to her.
You know, when she had an issue with a flat tire early in the race at Daytona, she tore her truck up getting back to pit road. You can see how slow she's going. That's just her learning from what happened at Daytona. Those tires are flat spotted. If she tried to go fast, it'd tear her truck up again.
One going through the grass. And it's Natalie Decker again, really about the same spot. I think those tire tracks just ahead of her are where she came through the grass the first time earlier today.
I think everyone comes to pit road, don't you, Michael? There's no way with 30 laps on these tires that they're going to stay on the racetrack. I don't think anyone even gambles. I'm not even sure 2 tires is a good gamble here with this many laps to go.
Well, there's Natalie Decker. It's almost tough to tell through the wet lens. That's all the moisture that's on the track. And Natalie Decker and Jinjo Kopp maybe got together just a little bit, and it put Natalie Decker through the infield.
I think Natalie just lost it. Jen did a nice job of avoiding her, diving down on pit road to avoid running into her. So nice job by Jinjo.
Yeah, the truck looks pretty clean.
Got that 6th place finish down at Daytona back in 2011. What I tell you about this girl is when it's time to qualify and she's got to pick up some speed, she does it every time. And
time again, we've seen her do that.
How about all the debris, the grass off the front of that 54 truck around for the second time today?
And one good thing, Vince, about this ride for Natalie Decker, think about it. At Daytona, she didn't get any experience. She ran one lap and her tire blew and she's out of the race. I know she's had a couple of spins, but she's been competitive. She's run with some good trucks, and she's been able to learn. This is what's so important. Get those laps under her belt so that she can figure out exactly what the truck needs, handling-wise, to be successful.
And there's a spinner, and it's the 54 of Natalie Decker.
Wow, look at the damage, the transition from pavement to grass did to that truck.
She was having a solid run, too. Very competitively inside the top 20. She was 16th, but her chances of finishing in the top 20 now are over.
That was so stupid. What happened?
What happened? Well, we're about to show you. Natalie Decker inside, and that's the 0-2 of Tyler Dipple.
Phil, we talked at the start of this broadcast about how difficult it is to keep control of your truck when you're down on the bottom. It just got loose. No air on that right rear fender because of the outside.
Watch this damage right here.
Traffic, and then bam.
Wow.
Look at that contact. It's frustrating that you can be taken out by just having the air taken away from your spoiler. That's exactly what happened to her there.
We saw the same thing happen last week at Dover to Sheldon Creed. He, as you mentioned, led 59 laps of that race. Wow, what a ride that was for Natalie.
Man, just dug into the earth, and big time damage, putting it into the night for Natalie Decker. The 54 has gotten into the wall. That's Natalie Decker.
Get down on the apron.
Pretty significant contact, it looks like.
Yeah, that's going to end her night, I'm afraid.
The bumper cover is kind of ripped off on the back.
Maybe they can get that thing repaired, pull the fenders out, put another tire on it.
Okay, to the bottom, bring it, guys. Be ready.
It was so free. I couldn't do anything about it.
You hear it in the voice of Natalie Decker. The frustration and the helplessness of trying to get a handle on that truck.
And Vince, in order to have a truck that'll run well throughout an entire green flag run, it's got to be free at the start. All these truckers are battling that. That's what's crazy about it. When the trucks are the loosest is when you got to race the hardest, and all that traffic. Somehow most of them hung on. Natalie got into the outside wall.
You saw it at home. Natalie Decker hard into the wall on the right side of that truck. Second time she's been into the wall tonight, and shouldn't be surprised because we've had a yellow within the first 26 laps of every truck race here at Charlotte. Watch the 54 Natalie Decker.
Oh, yeah, her truck was already crippled up, but what a nice job. Looks like maybe Tyler Dipple in the 0-2
yep,
getting by her.
Certainly could have collected Dipple easily, and fortunate that it did not.
Team will have to make some good repairs to that right rear corner of the truck. That's where it leans on the air the most for its downforce, and it's really wounded back there.
From what we had yesterday and what our truck had, I just didn't think we'd have the grip. And we made a lot of changes overnight. What these guys did was incredible. The amount of effort put in. Oh, one just hit the wall, 54. But sorry, I was watching that on Big Hoss.
After Gus Dean, Natalie Decker took to the track, puts in a time of 33.034. Not her best time, because she too had problems coming off of turn 2 and glanced off the outside wall with the right side of the machine. Natalie Decker now being listed as 18th quick.
Go! That's your boy. Natalie Decker's around as well in the 54 truck.
Oh, and there's contact from the 14 of Trey Hutchins. So 3 vehicles involved in this one.
Looks like the radiator is gone in the 20 truck.
Did Boyd maybe get into the a little contact there with the 54?
Yeah, it looks like Natalie got into the inside wall there.
After 10 races, Decker had a best finish of 13th place at Las Vegas. Additionally, she crashed out of 4 of the 8 races she entered to that point.
Caution flag is out.
And that's the 54 of Natalie Decker.
Well, you got to feel for this young lady. She's had a lot of bad luck and a big learning curve, and
she was running in the 17th position. We'll see if we have any replays back there to see what may have happened, whether she had any contact and
we saw a big swarm of trucks racing for a second on back, so I'm sure she was more than likely in some heavy traffic.
Like trying to squeeze yourself onto the one lane of the interstate when all the traffic's merging. Sometimes there's just not room.
Sometimes
there's just not room, and you get squeezed out.
Run in from behind, you got nothing to do about it.
Sometimes you have two interstates merging, you know, and the speed disparity and stuff, so it's tough out there.
It's hard to say what happened. We'll see here.
The upper right portion of your screen, and you'll see the 97 and 22 and
I think
the
Jesse
54
Little,
all there together. I think Little was further back.
Yes, he might have been a victim of circumstances, but it looked like maybe the 22 was in proximity of the 54 of Natalie Decker.
And Natalie looked a little ginger as she was helped to the ambulance, so we'll keep an eye on that situation and update it.
Holding a spinner.
The 54 of Natalie Decker has brought out the caution.
Keep rolling. That wasn't your fault.
Sounds like there might have been a little contact there.
And the good thing about that, Phil, she didn't tear that splitter up. You saw it just scraping along that grass. If it digs in, that truck's, her day is done. And unfortunately, that didn't happen.
She'll have to come to pit road for them to clean that grass off it.
She was running in the 11th position, so doing a nice job, and just gets run over. Oh, a nice job there by Ankrum slipping below her as she slipped out of control.
Todd Gillen just nudged her around just a little bit.
Boy, and you're right, Mike. That's almost surprising that it didn't dig into that turf any more than what we normally see in that situation.
Did you see Ankrum there scraping that front end on the apron as he just barely slipped by?
There wasn't 3 or 4 inches, I don't think, between those trucks.
Oh,
Big hit.
Natalie Decker is in the 54 and Spencer Boyd in the 20. Also Jordan Anderson involved. Man, that 20 is torn up.
We'll see what happens here. He's in the middle of the screen, the orange truck. He's going to dip below Decker in the 54, bounces up, just wasn't quite clear of Natalie, and she was holding her line, and they clipped Boyd into that outside wall.
That's enough. That's enough.
4 laps remaining, 4 to go at Michigan. Oh, and Ankrum gets a big shove, and it's going to bring out a big caution and a big accident. Gilliland is involved, Sauter involved, Alfredo in the mix as well. The 20 of Spencer Boyd, and this is going to be a big cleanup.
I just talked about 2 of the 3 trucks involved in that big crash. There you saw Alfredo.
Looked like he spun his tires on that restart. Matt Crafton, I'm sure, was trying to help him get going initially. See Natalie Decker, we just talked about her having such a great run up in the top 15.
All 3 of the DGR-Crosley trucks involved in that. There they set. Matt Crafton's trying to help Tyler Ankrum, and
Well, you clearly saw Ankrum spinning the tires.
Yeah,
see what
Matt was still trying to help too, don't you think, Michael? He was just trying to help him get going.
The caution is out again, and this time it's Natalie Decker in the 54 truck.
spun entering turn 3.
Doesn't appear to be a lot of damage on that truck.
Maybe that right front towed out a little bit. Phil.
Yeah.
You can see where it's hit there. Maybe not, though. 2 or 3 trucks look like came together. I think they did.
Definitely towed out, I think.
Pretty good contact with that outside wall.
You can see she was.
Hey, you gotta listen to spotter. If you would clear, if you would came down when you're supposed to off at 2, this never would have happened.
Well, that's all part of it, right? I mean, getting used to being able to multitask in regards to driving, doing what the spotter, listening to the spotter guide you along.
And like Frankie Kerr said, it happens so fast here. You might say clear, and if you hesitate a half a beat, then it's not clear anymore. You can see definitely some damage to the right front of Natalie's truck.
Back at Bristol, getting close to the end. Gonna crown a winner, but this, well, this is not the winner.
I've never been wrecked by a wrecker.
Natalie Decker they're trying to push Natalie Decker off the track after being involved in an incident, and then
pushed her onto it.
I think she wanted to turn on the pit road, and the record driver didn't realize that, and she was trying to hit the brakes, and
he was on the gas.
He was on the gas.
Yeah. NASCAR's.
That's why we're having the problem right there.
That's a beautiful moon.
It is.
There it goes.
Oh, and there's a collection into the wall and through the grass on the bottom.
I would be shocked if it weren't Ross Chastain.
And there he is.
Trying to block like we talked about.
Timothy Peters.
And Timothy Peters involved.
Hard contact to the front of Timothy Peters' truck.
I think Stuart Friesen had got the best of Ankrum, Alfredo, and may be in that free pass position.
Brian Doza in the 28. Saw Natalie Decker in the 54. It happens so quickly. Sometimes that spot that's open, but by the time you actually go for it, it's not.
Well, Sheldon Creed was going through the middle. He was going to try to get underneath Ross Chastain, and Ross realized that and started to turn down to try to block that move, and there just wasn't time, Michael, as we've been talking about. Look at
nice
the hard
job by Natalie Decker. Check that out. She's going to maybe make just a little contact, but up on the racetrack, she was sideways and slid down the hill. I don't think there's much damage to that 54 truck.
Around goes the 44 of Jeb Burton.
Oh, and into the wall, Moffitt made some contact with the outside safety barrier trying to get around these trucks.
Natalie Decker there in the 54. The 33 is Dawson Cram. Here's how it happened. 54 of Decker, and she instead of the 44 of Jeb Burton.
Watch the 24 right here as he hits that. That's a bad angle.
Ooh.
To hit that wall. Oh,
and there's a caution. And it's Natalie Decker and Jordan Anderson.
Oh, goodness.
Gus Dean also involved in that.
Well, the last thing Todd Gilliland wanted to see was this caution.
You're exactly right, Vince, because racing against Ross Chastain, an experienced veteran, and Gilliland knows he crowded Chastain up a bit, so that opens the door for a payback. We'll see what happens here.
We said before, Chastain's worst nightmare was a restart. He ended up losing the lead as a result of the restart. As we can see, it looks like the 12 of Gus Dean gets turned around. Those other trucks nowhere to go. Natalie Decker with nowhere to go. Makes slight contact with Gus.
Natalie, a couple of laps down. Dean and Jordan Anderson were on the lead lap.
Well, just what you would expect at Martinsville.
It's more than I would have.
Caution and a restart to determine the winner.
It was more than I expected, man. They've given me more than my tickets.
At the conclusion of the season, Natalie Decker started 19 of 23 races. She got a best start of 11th place at the season opener at Daytona and had a best finish of 13th at Las Vegas. In 9 races, Decker was forced to retire, 8 of them due to crashes. She would finish in 19th place in the standings with 281 points.